It's been so hard to keep it a secret, but at the same time, like we needed to take this time to truly just allow it to be what it is.
Building this in silence for the most part has been such an interesting experience.
Make this whole process of health and fitness fun, to make it enjoyable, to make it something you look forward to every day.
But that's how the three of us function. Like, if we can dream it, we can build it.
We simply want to make fitness fun again. We want to make it accessible. We want to make it something that you guys fully enjoy on many different levels.
So when we talk about an individual level, a micro level, what protocols have the biggest impact on you? We talk about moving the biggest rocks. What things move the needle?
And we are so blessed to have a really, really incredible team alongside us whose literal mantra is like, if you could think of it, we can build it.
But this thing's going to give us some pretty incredible insights into health as a culture.
Never in a million years did I think there were so many decisions to be made about like what one page could look like.
We're going to find the data, and we're going to see if there are correlations there. We're going to see how close we can get to causation, which I've been told we can get pretty damn close based on how this all works. So there are some very powerful things we're going to be doing through this platform. Welcome back to the Fitness League, helping busy humans build strong bodies, sharper minds, and better lives. Join us each week as we cut through the noise, challenge the norms, and empower you to train smarter and live stronger. In our last episode, we gave you the origin story, Project B, the behind the scenes of where the idea started. So if you haven't listened to that one yet, hit pause and go back to episode 82. Today, we're going to share the transition point from what we were doing to when we realized the Fitness League needed to stand on its own. Now, for those of you who did not pick up on that yesterday, the very last line of the episode, we're not just talking about the podcast. This platform is the Fitness League. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. I would say that 50% of my DMs picked up on it and 50% were like, wait, did you forget to include something in there? Did you guys did we miss something? So I would say it was like 50-50.
I had a few people saying like, were there some Easter eggs in there that we should be like further analyzing? And I did tell a few people that there was a big juicy nugget given, but you might not have picked up on it. So
tied it in. For those who tied it in, I hope you're super excited for this episode. For those who were searching and scouring, that is why we are not doing our usual Q&A episode. For this episode, we are going to give you the rest of the story, fill in the blanks, and get the party started. All right, fellas. Well, I guess we got to scrape back a little bit further to kind of where we left off the previous episode, because FCP, Fit Coach Pro, and the Fitness League are very, very much intertwined, and that was on purpose. To call it a Hail Mary, I mean, it did end up kind of being a Hail Mary for Fit Coach Pro. I don't know, at the time we viewed it as that. It was just the level up. So like we mentioned in the last episode, and again, if you have not listened to that, this is all going to make a lot more sense if you hit pause and go back to that one first. But we were creating this platform for coaches to elevate the entire industry, because what we had seen outside of just our struggles and frustrations with the process itself and being through email and being through Excel sheets and leveling up to Google Drive, if you want to call that a level up, beyond that, there was just a huge gap with how people were being coached. And we understand our team isn't going to fit every single demographic in the world. And we know there are other teams doing different things that could really benefit from these tools. So we wanted to kind of force a coaching process that required you to be an excellent coach. There were certain things you had to do. We had daily check-ins and weekly check-ins and all kinds of reports to view the data, break down data, and provide better feedback to all your clients. And that was really the whole purpose of Fit Coach Pro, for us coaching, but also to elevate the industry as a whole, sharing this with other coaches so that they could elevate their entire process and streamline it so they could look professional, but also by default just be better coaches than the vast majority of what is out there. So that is kind of where this all came through. So as far as the Hail Mary and the Fitness League being this, looking back in hindsight, it was an attempt at a saving grace for it. But it was to really take this thing and relaunch ourselves, catapult ourselves back to the forefront of what was happening. And it started off with this idea of populating trends and what are certain things we could do, take this data and make it more engaging. What could we do to gamify it? We have daily check-ins. There wasn't really a specific habit section. I mean, you could track habits within those daily check-ins, but that's kind of all that you were doing. It was more feedback for your coach, and it felt like more of a chore to the client. So the purpose of the fitness league was to gamify and to engage and to make this whole process of health and fitness fun, to make it enjoyable, to make it something you look forward to every day. Something we saw with a lot of clients was just the idea that this was already scary for some. They were making a big change. They were hiring a coach to take things to the next level. And then they had this whole new process they had to learn and, answer questions and keep track of certain things. And it felt like more of a chore than it felt like, wow, okay. Some they got the positive. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I'm so excited to do this every day. Others is just like, I have work and the kids, and then I have to sit down at the end of the day and kind of do these check-ins. And not that it's, again, we still have clients doing this, so it isn't cumbersome. But we also understood that we can make it fun. We can make this something that people look forward to doing. And then we can throw some cool things on top of that where, we can compete against each other in certain areas and do some things to really unite the community. So this is kind of the beginning of the fitness league growing some legs, and it kind of being spurred by those, how many brainstorming sessions, how many late night meetings we had to kind of figure out how this all comes together.
I'm going to pop in really quick just to give you the most clarity if you're still not connecting the dots here, because I don't think you flat out said it, Josh, but Project B is the Fitness League. Like, this is the Fitness League podcast, yes, but Project B's name is the Fitness League. And I feel like we just have to say that and get it out there for anybody who still might be a little confused. Like, Project B is the Fitness League. That's all I wanted to add in there before we move forward.
Which is a separate entity from the Fitness League podcast. But now y'all are probably wondering why Josh wears so much Fitness League hats and shirts. And you're like, wow, this guy just really loves his podcast. And there it is. So the Fitness League is what we have been building. And like Josh said, a lot of that stemmed from Fit Coach Pro and creating software previously for coaches and how could we make this software better, and a continuous ask from our coaches who, not just our Levolution coaches, but other coaches who were using the Fit Coach Pro software. It was a pretty consistent ask that coaches would request, like, can we make this an app? Because at the time, the Fit Coach Pro software was web-based. And so there started to be more and more conversations over, could we make this an app? Could we turn Fit Coach Pro? Could we turn our coaching software into an app? And that's really where all of this began, was, okay, let's see if that will resolve some of the issues that we've had with Fit Coach Pro in previous years. Maybe making this into an app is the next step. And I remember chatting with Brant about it, and Brant was like, I think I might know an app developer. He built something in the finance realm. And I was like, that's ridiculous. We're not going to use some guy who built something for finance. What does he know about fitness? He's like, just get on a call with him. And I think you and me, Josh, got on a call with Matt, and Matt was like, this is my dream project. And we were like, shut up. This is our dream project. So that's really when we started, even still, to continue building out what we thought would be our coaching software into what we started to create and what we really started to brainstorm as the Fitness League. It started as, let's make our coaching software into an app. And the more we dove into it, and the more we spoke with our developer team, and the more Josh, Alessandra, and I brainstormed what this could be, what it could look like, the more we kind of got to this point. I don't know if either of you remember the point. I don't. I'm curious if you guys do. But eventually, somewhere along the line, we got to a point where we were like, maybe this isn't just for coaches. What if what we build is so great that we give this to everybody, and we want everyone to be able to access what we are building, not just coaches? We want our own clients to be able to access it. And we also want people who aren't clients to be able to access it, because we're building something really, really cool. And it would be really awesome to be able to let everyone use this and not just coaches for their own coaching companies.
I think it's really, for those who don't own a business, I think it's hard to conceptualize what it takes to build said business. And I know we talked in the previous episode about the day where we had the whiteboard and we're brainstorming and we had all these lists and sections and like, what does this really look like? And it truly did have probably 3 different forms before we landed on what it is today. And, bless Josh, because he truly is the one out of us 3 who can see, like, he can take things to the moon
Huge
and he
high
can
level
see the
overview.
big picture. He can see the high level overview. And sometimes, like, it takes a little bit longer. I mean, maybe Joelle, you're there too, but like,
No,
for
I'm not.
speaking for myself, like it takes us a little bit longer to get on Josh's level most of the time. But typically, and I used to say it pains me to say that he's always right, but I'm really grateful to have a spouse who is right like 99.9% of the time. I leave a little bit of a wiggle room for error there.
Can't let his head get too big.
But this has been his dream and what he could see as our dream from the beginning, I feel like. And it took us a little bit of circling to really get there. But I feel like for him, it was crystal clear as far as like what this could be and how many people we plan to reach with this, because as we talk more about it, you guys will see and hear certain things that maybe you see other people doing, or like you've heard there's some familiarity to it, but at the same time it's going to be so different in so many ways. And I think the differences and the uniqueness of it is truly what's going to make it accessible and exciting and reach the number of people that I think Josh kind of saw from the beginning. So
To be very clear, I will throw probably at this point thousands of ideas at these two. And some of them are so high level and they'll just look back and say, why don't you let that one marinate for a minute? And then they kind of filter the concepts. This was one I was super excited about and I probably wasn't going to let off. And I had to do a little extra selling, I think, while we were still navigating Fit Coach Pros as far as how this could transform within that. And then again, like, okay, maybe this thing has its own legs and this thing's going to grow on its own. But to give full credit where all credit is due, like none of this stuff happens without this whole team filtering some of these ideas and refining them, and we go back to the drawing board together. So I'm pretty good at seeing where we should be going, kind of have, the general coordinates for where the ship is headed, but we would be hitting rocks all along the way. Again, without this harmonious balance of, what did Brant call it? The triad? Is that like the Chinese mafia? The 3 of us?
I don't remember what Brent called it, but probably.
I think you went triad. Some triangular leadership structure here. But yeah, it's something once we all saw the potential for it, that's why we're all in on this, literally in more ways than we can explain. We are all in on this entire project. And the ability to change the world is on the table. This is something that we are very passionate about. We truly believe in. And even at first glance, we're going to paint this picture a bit clearer throughout this episode, but even at first glance, it's like, okay, it's, another coaching platform or some kind of training app or whatever. That's just the surface of what we're talking about here, guys. We're going to cover some basics, but the things we'll be able to do and create, and we literally have a 5, 10, 30-year plan as far as directions we could take. So when I say plan, it's like channel A, B, C, D for each crossroad. This thing, like we alluded to last episode, is a living, breathing organism, and it is going to tell us, and you guys are going to tell us where this needs to go. So we'll get a bit more granular here in a minute, but I'll pass the mic back.
I want to highlight that, what you just said. And I think, well, to let you guys really in fully and be transparent and honest with you, like we weren't even going to plan on announcing this anytime soon until it was fully ready to be in your hands. And I think we all realize that there is such power in our community, and we have an incredible, incredible community of listeners, of just supporters, and just whether it's on the Levolution side or within the SDE Method app or just a podcast listener, like you all truly are the fitness league. Like Josh doesn't just say that every week. And we really wanted to just kind of peel back the curtains and let you in on the ride with us so that you can continue to be a part of building this with us. So I just wanted to throw that out there and kind of say that, because I feel like, you may be listening to this and wondering why now, like, is this something that we're going to have in our hands tomorrow, and we'll get there. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that we really want you to be part of this journey, and it excites us to know that you're excited about it without even really knowing what it is. So we hope that that excitement continues to build too.
So, how did we get here?
It all started when
It all started when I feel like we could write a book about this.
when my mommy and daddy fell in love.
The birds and the bees. One thing I want to really hone in on and make very clear, and again, pulling back from the previous episode, to be great, to have the potential to change the world, to do some really, really big things, it cannot be a side hustle. It has to be something you're all in on. It has to be something that you are grinding every single day on. You drink it, you eat it, you breathe it, and you dream about it. And that is literally what this has become. The reason FCP couldn't keep up when we did start to lose momentum is because everyone is pulled in different directions. And no slight to the previous development team, but when this is everyone's part-time job, tech included, you get part-time results. So a big part of this journey was pouring a ton of assets and resources,
Understatement,
into a specific team that is also living and breathing this and doing this full time. And again, the previous team, incredible people, some people I'll talk to for the rest of my life. No shade whatsoever. It wasn't skill level, it was circumstance. And the circumstance was we all worked other full-time jobs, every single one of us. So taking on the risk of investing into a new tech company who was going to just be passionate about this thing. And it would have been great if he's just like, no, this is a cool project. Like, I'm happy to do this. And yep, you guys will pay and we're going to put out killer results. It evolved so tremendously, like Joel was talking about, like, as we got into it, he just explained, and his team was on board as well. But like, this is the dream project. This is so much fun. These are things that I want to use. And it is that reason. Not only do we pay so much attention to every single detail, which is why we did not launch last New Year's Eve. That was our very short-sighted goal, because that would have just been kind of regurgitating what we had and just like throwing it up as an app. And every single detail that we honed in on took time. It could be a week of like how a single page on this platform functions, the way that it moves, the way that it looks, the way that it responds, the way that it learns. And not only are we paying attention to that and using it every single day, every new thing that comes out, every new button, every new whatever, they're doing the same thing. And they will give us 5, 6, 7 iterations of every minute detail.
every button, every color, every placement of something to click. Like, I can't even explain how much detail. If you're listening to this and you work in like UI experience or like graphic design in any way, you probably have a good idea of what we're talking about. Never in a million years did I think there were so many decisions to be made about like what one page could look like, or what one exercise on a page could look like, and where the buttons are. And there's so much detail that goes into this. And we are so blessed to have a really, really incredible team alongside us, whose literal mantra is like, if you could think of it, we can build it. And like that, I can't think of someone that fits more into our triad, so to speak, than someone who has that as the way they do work.
Well, that makes us a quad.
You know what I mean? Like,
We've
that's how
evolved from a triad to a quad.
But that's how the three of us function. Like, if we can dream it, we can build it. That's how we function. And so for our developer at the time to turn around and say that to us, literally, was like, this is our guy. This is our guy. And obviously his team has continued to show us, not just through words, but through what they have done over the last year now, just how much they will prove that to us. And that's really cool.
I'm a big believer in the universe speaking to us. And again, whether you believe in God, some type of higher power, right place, right time, right message. And as difficult as the past 6 months or so in particular have been, whatever the timeline has been, I will continue to get these messages from the universe that you're on the right track. And here's the next little nugget you need. I'm not going to share the entire plan with you, but here's the next little nugget you need. For example, I was in the middle of one podcast that alluded to another podcast, and then I jumped from that to a third podcast to land on this episode of Founders is the name of the podcast. It was on Walt Disney. And during a time when I needed to hear it, it was this full elaborate breakdown of how Disney World, Disneyland came to be, how they overextended themselves, and, just everything had to be meticulously perfect. And they were also on this time crunch. So they actually opened it initially, Disneyland out in Cali, 80% ish done. And people were, women walking around in heels at the opening day, getting stuck in the pavement because it just got poured. But the attention to detail and what had been completed, and obviously if you've been there now, like, I did not grow up a Disney fanatic, but even going there to Disney World the first time, and I will say not wanting to be there, I will very clearly did not want to be there at that time.
Josh
We didn't have
did
any.
not want to be there with any ounce of his body, just for further clarification.
We did not. I love going
This
with my
was
kids.
pre-kids.
I love taking my kids there. Going with adults was not on my list. But going there, even the first time, in my not so great mindset, I'm like, this is pretty incredible. Like, you look around, the details in every aspect of this park. It's clean, it's friendly, it's upbeat. Every corner of everything is absolutely perfect, and they keep it that way. So the whole point of this episode is like, these guys did what they could with what they had. They were extremely resourceful with very limited funds. Like, Walt Disney wasn't rich at this point in time, but everything had to be perfect. And the team had come to him like, hey, we can save a little money. It doesn't have to be leather straps on this thing. And he's like, you compromise somewhere, you're going to compromise everywhere. We will not be compromised. There's this thing 40 feet in the air. Like, we can use, PVC pipe instead of real wood and painted. We don't have to maintain it. It's going to be great long term. It's like, no, it's got to be this thing. We'll do what we got to do. Every single detail. And as things were slowly grinding on this app building process, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Because if you half-ass Disney, you just end up with another Six Flags. It would not have the same feel to it, the same magic, the same environment, the same response the moment you walk into it. That energy, you can just feel it. And that is what this platform, I don't know if I called it an app, it's going to be an entire platform. And we'll, again, explain the bigger picture here throughout this episode. But the universe sharing the message that you need at the right point in time, telling us we're on the right journey, we're doing the right things, we're with the right people. I just sit back and when I get those, I sit back and I smile. I'm like, that actually just happened. And I get one of those a week at least. And it's just, we are meant to be here. We are so grateful that you guys are here, because every single one of you is meant to be here as well. Whether you've engaged with us, started some conversations with us in the past, or you're just a passive listener, like, you were meant to be here. You are the Fitness League, and you are going to be able to share this thing with everybody you care about. And we'll dive into that in a moment as well. But anything I'm missing, guys, before we keep
I just
trucking?
kind of want to add to the like divine intervention piece of it a little bit, because when I sit back and think about how many things had to happen in each of our lives individually for this to line up the way it has so that we can build what we are building, there's something about it that when you zoom out, you're able to say, I get it now. I get everything I've been through. I get everything you've been through, that we've been through together, apart, so on and so forth, because all of that has led us here, which makes me think this is exactly where we were always supposed to be, building this.
And I feel like there have been a lot of just, I guess, opportunities that we've also said no to over the years too. Like, a lot of you probably know, I mean, every influencer you follow has an app these days. Let's just put that out there. And we've been approached by many developers, businesses, different things over the years that at surface level seem like a great idea. They pitch it to you, it seems like a great idea. It seems like it's what you're looking for. And then you dive deeper and it's like, well, this isn't really, like, this might be better than what we either currently have, or it might be something we can build, but at the same time, it wasn't fully ours. It wasn't fully what we wanted to give our people. And I think a lot of people out there will jump at opportunities like that. And there's a lot of different apps out there right now who I still get emails to this day from, I'm not even going to name what they are, but like different companies who have these apps for influencers. And it's like, this what we're building is so much greater and so much more exciting and so much more us than we could ever build with any other company. And I think it will become evident once you guys have this in your hands. But I just want to throw that out there too. Like, we've said no a lot of times and have turned down a lot of opportunities to also get to this point as well. And this is the only way I could picture us taking the next level up, if that makes sense.
We are not the people that choose the path of least resistance. Never have been, never will be. And I'm grateful for that. Like, I'm really, really grateful for that because, like Alessandra said, there were a lot of different ways that we could have done things that would have been a whole lot easier and a whole lot less expensive and a whole lot less, like, financially expensive, energy expensive. Like, we have chosen the hardest route on purpose. And that's why the three of us are also really adamant about doing hard things.
I want to jump off 2 launch pads Joelle just set up for me with her previous speaking before Alessandra. Yes. In regards to everything happening, needing to be here, supposed to be here, that really includes the struggles. The problem with winning all the time is that you think I'm the best. I'm doing everything right. I don't need to keep learning. I just got to keep leaning into what I'm doing. Every loss you take, you have to think about it. It's a little self-evaluation. Why did we lose? What could I have controlled? Even if it was an outside, macroeconomic factor, what could we have done to better prepare for this moment? And you reflect, and you learn, and you rebuild, and you grow. So we've dominated on our own. We've done extremely well together. We have also been punched in the mouth several times. So we've done this self-reflection. And this is something you try to do anyway, but especially during those difficult times. Without those, we wouldn't have had to figure out what is the best solution? What do we need to do moving forward so this never happens again? I'll call this level 3, based on our evolution over time throughout the businesses. There's basically been 3 massive evolutions we've had, but this one being, I believe, the end game. Because as I said, it's a living, breathing organism, and everything else can run through this. Everything else gets leveled up. Everything else, there doesn't have to be anything after this. It's going to run through it. And then as far as learning from the struggles, moving forward, choosing courage over comfort, we've recently outlined some core values for this. And I believe a lot of you are going to connect with this as well. And that is, we built this with us in mind. These are things that we hold tried and true to our hearts. And I believe you're going to find them motivational as these things that you probably, if you're here, you probably already live these. But to have these clarified for you, I want to break them down. So we got 5. Lead from the front. It's number 1. We live the standards we expect from others, setting the example through our actions, not just our words. Number 2 is evolve every day. We stay curious, humble, and committed to becoming stronger, wiser, and better than we were yesterday. Number 3 is own the outcome. We take full responsibility for our actions, our impact, and our results. No excuses and no blame shifting. Number 4 is courage over comfort. We choose the hard, right path over the easy, safe one. Progress demands bold moves and uncomfortable conversations. And number 5, strength in struggle. We embrace challenges, knowing the hard part shapes us, and that grit today becomes ease tomorrow. And every single one of these have been things we have repeated over and over in the podcast and our daily conversations. These all, as I read through them and as, we kind of sifted and went through this thought process, they almost sound like the same thing, but they're all very specific in their own channels. And we lived by them because we just blurt out these same kind of phrases consistently throughout the conversations on this podcast. So I believe every single one of you can connect with that. I believe if you're not there in all of those, you aspire toward them. And we certainly do. So that is the foundation behind the Fitness League. That is the name. We can call it an app for right now. It is a platform. As far as what it does at a high level, these are nuggets that we have sprinkled into these episodes for the last 4 or so months, at least. Wouldn't it be nice if something could do this and that? And wouldn't it be really cool if you could learn and da-da-da? So why don't we break that down next? Before we get into specifics, before we get into the two features we have spent the last year on. Again, attention to detail. The best is yet to come, but we have two features, and that is why it is not out yet. And we'll break down what the launch point is going to be. But zooming out, high level, what are we doing here? Crickets?
Well, I think
Nobody
Joelle and
knows?
I are both a little nervous because in the past we have gotten yelled at for wanting to say things by you and we can't say it yet.
Are we just fully sending it, right?
We'll do features next, but high level, what is the purpose? Why are we here? Why did we create it? What is it going to do?
In a sentence, in a paragraph.
In whatever feels authentic in this
I
moment for you
think
to
for
speak.
me, we simply want to make fitness fun again. We want to make it accessible. We want to make it something that you guys fully enjoy on many different levels. And I truly believe this is going to do that for you. I think our current app community and our current app users have given us such great feedback and have given us such great ideas and have given us just, I guess, the confidence to pursue this for you guys. But I think at its core, this truly is something that is still science backed, still giving you results, but makes it fun. And I think for a lot of you listening or in the past or currently or whatever it is, like the words exercise and fitness and health and fun have never really gone together. Or maybe they have, but it took a long time for you to get there. So our hope is to reduce that time for as many people as we can and to get them just living the life and the lifestyle that we all live and that we know will just give them so much more out of life by living, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I know you guys said you're afraid to speak. We'll talk about specific
I was
features
going to
here
say
in a second.
I have a one-liner. I've been
Well, you
working
can
on
do
this
that,
while
but you can
Alejandro was
also,
talking.
without saying what the features are, you can explain
Okay.
why they're there. You can dive into why they're there and what the purpose of what we have in there is. So don't feel like you hit it with the one-liner, but feel free to elaborate if you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to start with my one-liner and then I can maybe further elaborate. Part of my one-liner is stealing Josh's mantra, which is that our goal is to make the world a happier, healthier place. And so I believe that the core of what we're building is our attempt at creating something that can help to make the world a happier, healthier place in a way that is as frictionless as possible, which I think is what Alessandra was getting at as well with like, how do we lower the barrier? How do we make this more fun? How do we make this easier for people? How do we make it so that health and fitness doesn't feel stressful for people? How do we make it so that all of their health data is in one place and their fitness data and their training data is all in one place? How do we make it accessible so that if someone can't afford one-on-one coaching, that they could still manage their health in an accessible and less expensive way? So I think world, happier, healthy place, important. Also as frictionless as possible, really important in talking about why we have created this and what it is and what it's meant to be at its core. So Josh, to your follow up there about not saying exactly what is inside of it yet, but I know we're getting to that, don't worry. We want to give you as many tools as possible to be successful on your health and fitness journey without feeling like you have to break the bank to do so, without feeling like you can't possibly have the resources to do this on your own. And the goal is to empower you through the tools that this platform and or app is going to provide. It's about giving you the tools and the knowledge and the confidence to be able to feel like you can manage your health and fitness journey on your own.
Big part of what we do with coaching at Levolution is making your health and fitness protocols incredibly individualized to you. And I think a big struggle with a lot of fitness programs, challenges, apps, whatnot out there is that they feel very cookie cutter. They feel very generic. I think we've done a as good of a job as we possibly could have done with the SDE Method app in that we give you 9+ different programs. We have different things available for different fitness levels, equipment levels, and we've worked really hard at giving you as much as we can through that platform that we are using. Now, with that said, there's a lot that we have wanted to give you, but it's just not possible on that app. And I think that's also where this idea was born too. Like, we want to give you more, but it was like our hands were tied there as well. So I just want to throw in like the individuality aspect of it as well is going to be such a game changer as far as setting it up in a way that truly makes sense for your current phase of life, for your current season of life that you're in, and it will allow you to succeed no matter how many different seasons you go through for the rest of your life too.
Listen, if you're tired of the all or nothing cycles, the diet starts Monday, the I know what to do, I'm just not doing it feeling, we should probably talk. Our one-on-one online coaching isn't just about workouts and meal plans. It's about building something that actually fits your life. No cookie cutter templates, no guilt, just real coaching and real results. Plus, we've got a pretty big team, so we can even pair you with an expert who actually understands your lifestyle because they've gone through it too. If that sounds like what you've been missing, check out the link in the show notes to apply for coaching. Then we'll send you the link to book a free, no obligation consult call with our team. There are no hard closes. We won't even take your credit card over the phone. You'll get the details to sign up on your own time. And more good news, we are in fact qualified for HSA FSA reimbursement. One last thing. We even offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. What are you waiting for? Spots are limited, so apply today. All right, let's get back to the show.
I want to add one quick disclaimer. Levolution coaching is not going anywhere. As we continue to talk about what this platform is and all that it will and does and can offer, I do want to be clear that there will always be a place for one-on-one coaching with a human, having an incredibly knowledgeable, qualified person in your corner. That is, the goal is not to replace coaching with the fitness league. So I just wanted to put that out there. Coaching will always exist. You will also be able to use TFL alongside coaching. That will be another thing we could potentially dive into. But our clients will eventually, our Levolution clients will eventually be using the fitness league as their coaching platform. We're not up to that yet, but this is something that clients and non-clients can use. But one-on-one coaching will always be an option, whether you do that alongside using TFL or not.
Love it. Love it, love it. And absolutely to hit on that, and we'll keep moving forward. Coaching will always have its place because real people will always have its place. And you just don't have that same impact as when there's a person there with you who cares about you as a human, understands what you're going through. You know, the tech bots cannot, as much as they may feel like it, they cannot empathize and understand your situation. They don't have the experience. They don't have the life coaching skills to show you how to apply certain things. All they can do is give you incredibly accurate data as far as what you should be doing. But if you're having trouble doing that consistently and actually finding and aligning the correct protocols, that is where you're always going to need a human. But to step back, as we continue to speak on, our goal is to make the world a happy, healthy place. Not everybody is going to be able to afford coaching. Not everybody, for one reason or another, is going to pursue one-on-one coaching. For the rest of you, that is what this platform is for. It is to give you every tool you can imagine to learn, to grow, to enjoy, to reference. We'll fill in all the blanks here in a moment. But that is the purpose of this, to give you all of those tools in a way that's not overwhelming. And what Alessandra was kind of alluding to, meeting you where you are, you can scale this up, you can scale this down. You can, track a couple things, focus on a couple habits. You can do all the things and all the workouts and all the programs and all the resources that are available to you. All the things. It depends on where you are at in your journey. Now, to keep it zoomed out, but to give a transition point here, on the back end, and this is actually the first thing we tried to create for the previous platform, there is what is called machine learning. And that means all of the data that you input, this platform will learn about you. So very similar, if you guys are familiar with Whoop and Aura Ring, those are wearables that will give you some insights onto some certain trends. This will do something along those lines as far as learning about you based on what you track, based on what we collect as a whole. So when we talk about an individual level, a micro level, what protocols have the biggest impact on you? We talk about moving the biggest rocks. What things move the needle? The system will learn. when you do these 2 or 3 things in conjunction with X, Y, or Z, you achieve this desired result, whatever that is. Zoom out, macro level. There are some pretty incredible things we will likely discover through this platform. I'm not going to get all woo-woo on it. I'm not going to claim that we're going to cure X, Y, or Z, but this thing's going to give us some pretty incredible insights into health as a culture based on things that are tracked and trends that are discovered that aren't just based on specific wearables, but something that I've discussed a lot lately is just the anecdotals. Okay, this has really helped me get along. I know there isn't a ton of data behind it and studies. Well, we're going to find the data, and we're going to see if there are correlations there. We're going to see how close we can get to causation, which I've been told we can get pretty damn close based on how this all works. So there are some very powerful things we're going to be doing through this platform, through machine learning, through the things that you guys decide to track or play with or whatever the situation is. So that's built in on the back end. On the front end, our initial goal as we transition, so everything we talk about here, it's the breaking point beyond what it was going to be with the Coach Pro, but the fitness league on its own, our initial goal was to replace what we were currently doing in any other app. So making training significantly better and easier to follow, giving you some more tools, giving you the ability to track not only habits, but biofeedback, performance metrics. I don't want to talk too much about what we will do in the future, but I kind of have to allude to it here. We will eventually sync to just about everything as far as your wearables and other apps. But for right now, we do have inputs for any type of ratings you have in those other things, sleep scores, any other things like that. We can make sure they're put in so you're collecting the data on that and learning from it. I think we have 5 categories. What am I missing? Performance, biofeedback, ratings, vitals, blood pressure, any kind of labs that you're getting done blood work wise. I believe H1A.
Yep, glucose.
We got there's a bunch of things in there.
Your lab
so you
work,
can track,
yeah,
all those
so
kinds of things.
Great example of this is like, let's say you start using the fitness league, you start exercising regularly, you're starting to track your habits in the fitness league, you get blood work when you start, not that that's a requirement, and 6 months later or a year later, you get new labs. You now input those new labs, and that's data collection. You're going to learn some trends, correlations, progress that you have made via this platform while you have been doing X, Y, and Z. Hey, here's the difference from your labs a year ago to your labs now. These are the things that were most likely the most prevalent contributing factors. So that's just one small example amongst many of the machine learning aspect of what Josh said about, being your own study in a way. You've heard us talk about that on the podcast before. If you're a regular listener, that sometimes there's not always research behind something and you're like, well, let me give it a try. If it can't hurt, let me try. Let me see if we notice a difference. And this is going to help us do that. This is going to help you do that.
Do the study on yourself. So the 2 sections, the 2 main features we have right now, trackables and different variations of training. So there is a program section where you can search through different programs, figure out which one aligns best with your schedule or what you are most interested in. There's also individual workouts you could supplement. If let's say you've got a 3 or 4 day program and you occasionally have this flex 5th day and you want to get some kind of arm pump, you go in, select that. All these things are logged, they're all tracked. You can also individually log exercises. So let's say you're following someone else's program, but you really want to use this platform, get the insights, get the data. You can log them all individually as exercises. Search them in the exercise library, log it, start picking up on those. You can view your history of workouts. You can view your history of exercises and see how those things are going. And there's a ton of tools we're going to build on top of that. Again, showing the trend reports and the correlations. Eventually get notifications for all those. Those are not live features at the moment. Those are being collected in the background. Those aren't front-end displaying as far as those trends. The third key piece that we said we need to do, we're already doing, but do it significantly better. Make it more efficient, make it more fun. Even right now, it's not a fully built out thing, but we kind of gamify training a little bit. You show your completion percentages, same thing with trackables. And it's funny, little things, just visual displays, percentage increases, check marks. We've had those things brought up to us in the past for the current app. And we're like, well, we aren't we aren't building this app. So like, it sounds great, but we can't actually go in and do those things. With this, we put some really cool spins on those concepts you guys had requested. And I'll tell you, you guys are onto something, because I am like a trained monkey at this point. Even if I'm grinding through, I'm like, I got one more set of this, or I don't feel like doing my warm up or my cool down or whatever it is. Like, I want that check mark. I want to see 100% completed, and it'll guide you through. And there's even cool visual prompts like throughout the workout as far as completion and, supersets and any kind of triset or circuit. There's some really cool visual aspects.
Can I just say too, you won't have to click 6 times to get into your program, which is probably the biggest complaint that you guys have with the current app. So
rightfully so.
once you'll be able to enroll in your program and it's right there, you click in and your day is ready to go. And I think that will be the most, not the most exciting, but one of the most exciting small changes for you current app users, because I know what a pain in the butt that is right now.
I also just want to add that if you are like a muscle mommy lover, a build lover, move lover, those are not going anywhere. You will have access to those programs inside of the fitness league.
And more.
And way more.
Way more. So those are the 2 features that are built out. We had to replace what we're already currently doing, obviously. And even trackables isn't something we were actually really, there was a way to do it, but it wasn't great. So those are the 2 things. The third thing that we said, well, we can't just replace what we have, even though it's way better. We need a new thing. We need something exciting. We need something that other people are doing, but by God, is this so much like, and this is, I'll just eat it. I'll own it. I'm tooting our own horn. I'm going to toot it. Nobody's doing it like this. It is beautiful. It's not even done yet, but the mock-ups we're getting and the philosophies, the concepts, the way you can do it, the flexibility. Good golly gosh, is it great. Challenges.
Good golly gosh.
Good golly gosh, is it great. So challenges. And let me start with this. You will be able to use this platform for free if all you want to do is be involved in one challenge with your friends. Keep a challenge going. Build some healthy habits. You're just going to log those trackables, and you can use it for free to get access to everything. Like, this will not be this, all these things behind paywalls. Being very clear. At the moment, at least for launch, you guys can do that for free. You want to get into the workouts and the actual tracking, everything else that you could possibly want to track, you do have to cover the membership, which we'll break down specifics later on when we're getting closer to launch. But if you just want to do one challenge a month or whatever the duration is with your friends at a time, you will always have access to that for free. The cool part about that is, even if you are someone who is using everything, which I'm sure most of you will be, you'll be active members. You can invite your mom and your grandma and your cousin and your sister. Like, hey, let's go do a challenge. It's going to be steps and air squats. And they can go use that for free. You send them an invite. They sign up, they jump in, they get access to that challenge. Now, where this gets really cool is you can send out all your invites. That's very straightforward. Invite your friends, create this thing, put it together. It's not just, here's our step challenge, and here's our push-up challenge, and here's our walking challenge, whatever it is. You can take up to 5 metrics, 5 trackables, add them to your challenge. You'll have a leaderboard for your full challenge. You'll see who's in the lead on any which day. You'll also see where your ranking is for each individual metric. And this platform will actually calibrate based upon ranking throughout all of the statistics, who's in first place. So it's not just, I had the most steps, I win the challenge. You could be first in steps, third in push-ups, 14th in air squats, and 10th in time walked outside or distance ran for the week or whatever it is. And it's going to take all these things into account. And there are some cool things that I'm not even fully aware of as far as like what direction we could take it, but it won't always be, for right now, think of it black and white in that regard. But there's also a concept we've been talking about into the future, which I'm not going to do this too often, but I'll just let you know. Like, let's say you have a weight loss challenge. It won't necessarily be based on the weight number. It'll be based on an initial threshold. So let's say someone has significant weight to lose. They're obviously going to lose the most weight. Someone who has a bit less weight to lose, we can do that based on a percentage weight loss. So it's taking into account your starting point and then your actual change, your personal improvement. So those are some cool things we'll be able to do in the future there. But that is one level to the challenges.
I'm personally really excited for those because, I mean, in the past, you guys have asked us. I think we've done challenges here and there, like, through the app, not through the app, but like with the app community. We've opened it to one-on-one clients before, and it's been like, I think I've just created like a little PDF type thing that people would screenshot and like log things that way, or like a calendar. And I think it will just be really exciting. And I think it'll just allow you guys to be that much more consistent, having a specific place to track and log these things. And I know that's kind of the point of a challenge, and plenty of other people do challenges, but we wanted this to be done the right way as far as actually tracking it, but also like how we're going to implement challenges as a whole community too, which the last thing we want you guys to do is to do a 30-day challenge and then fall back and like go back to what you're doing before. Our hope with this is to help you kickstart, do a 30-day step challenge, and we keep building on that, and we keep going, and we keep helping you transform to the next level and the next level and the next level. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to do TFL for this month, do their challenge, and then I'm going to hop to the next app or hop to this program or whatever it is. When you're in with us, you are part of the family, and we hope that you remain part of the family, and we are pretty confident that you will once you get your hands on this.
You're also not going to want to lose that data. Like, that's kind of one of the main benefits is we're going to give you a ton of fun ways to collect data. But similar to those of you who use Aura Ring and Whoop, like, you want those insights and you want to learn like what's benefiting my health the most. And that's what we're going to do.
Alessandra, you mentioned that something you're really excited about is challenges. And maybe this is because I have some familiarity with it with the Peloton bike. I am so excited for people to be able to accomplish and unlock certain things in the app by way of hitting specific milestones. So if you're familiar with Peloton at all, they do badges, like consistency badges. If you had like your best output on a ride, your longest distance on a ride, you tried a new time duration for a ride, you earn badges. And I think there's something like really cool just from a positive reinforcement standpoint. Like, I get freaking excited when I earn a new badge, and you will be able to do that inside the fitness league. So there's a little bit of this gamification aspect to your health and fitness in a multitude of ways, and earning badges and being able to unlock certain things or achieve certain things in the app based on the way you show up, the weight that you lift, the consistency that you approach your health and fitness with. I think that's going to be really cool feedback for people too.
I agree. I'm excited. And I think that, like you said, like, it makes you excited, but it also makes you want to share it. Like, I know you guys know that I'm not as big of a Peloton junkie as Joelle is, basically just during pregnancy, but I've seen people share, but when they earn badges, and it's a big deal, and it feels like a big deal. And it's kind of making me think a little bit here, like, we are obviously business owners, but we're also influencers in our space. And I think one of our biggest hopes with TFL is to encourage you guys to be the influencer for your community, for your family, for your friends, for your people. And we've talked about this before on the podcast too. You can't force anyone to live a healthier lifestyle, but you can lead by example. And this goes back to our core values. And I think a part of that is almost owning the title as an influencer for the people in your life, because when you are that to someone, you really do inspire them and motivate them to want to be better. And I think challenges allows you to be that influencer and allows you to say, I'm going to start this step challenge. Maybe you're talking to your mom, who I think we had an example of one of our listeners. Her mom moved far away, or she moved away from her mom or something, and they used to work out together, and her mom kind of just stopped working out when she moved away. And I think this is a great example of connecting people and bringing that back for certain people who may miss that opportunity to work out with you in person, or whatever the case is. This can be your way to do it together, even if it's not literally together in person, but bringing everybody together for this challenge, for this way to just live a happier, healthier life in a fun way, and in a way that feels good for all, without being like, you have to do this really strict protocol with me, or like, you should really work on your health. Like, there's a way to go about it, and there's a way not to go about it. And we're hoping that this fills the gap to help you encourage them to go about it in the right way.
Sorry, even as you guys are talking, I'm literally in my notes app jotting down new ideas for things we can do for the community. So half of my, I don't know if it's half or if it's more on the second half. The first half is like, okay, what else should we need this to do? What else do we need to refine that already exists? The other half is like, all right, how do we engage the community? How can we show our appreciation? How do we make it personal? How do we enhance the user experience outside of the platform, which I won't elaborate on, but like those are the things that gets my mind turning community building wise.
I also just wrote down an idea for the record as we were talking through all of that. You guys don't
Go ahead, please,
understand. This
conference.
is our brain. Like, these are our brains 24/7. We literally can be talking about something and it opens up 6 other tabs in our brain and we're jotting ideas down mid conversation, mid podcast recording. Josh is in his notes recording like something on his phone for notes that he just thought. Alessandra's talking. That sparked an idea for me. I went into my notes app and went and jotted something down. Like, oh, I got to tell Josh that after.
That's a great example of why it's taken a year to build this thing too, because it's like that is a parallel to the app building process. Like you figure out one thing and then you get all these other ideas and then it bleeds into a whole nother beast that you didn't even realize was a thing. That's how our brains work, and that's how this process has been as far as building the app too, which it's incredible. I mean, I think that just goes to show, like, when we say we've been building this for a year in secrecy, really. I mean, I know it's been secret as far as what it is, but we've hinted Project B. It's been so hard to keep it a secret, but at the same time, like, we needed to take this time to truly just allow it to be what it is. And I think that has been the hardest part for all of us, because like we obviously wanted to like scream this from the rooftops and share every little detail and like every twist and turn that this has taken, because I think that's kind of how we've always operated. Like we've documented building both of our businesses separately from the ground up from the very beginning over the last 10 years. So this was the first time I think that we've really built something for an extended period of time where we didn't say anything, where we didn't share the process. And now that we are able to, it's that much more exciting again, because it feels like the old times, but it also is just like the next level. Like it's totally different than the old times.
I think there was something cool too about what you're talking about, like this silent hustle, right? That really just the 3 of us and like our coaches, our Levolution coaches have known about. And as much as we loop them in as much as possible, us 3 obviously are in the thick of building this out and just in this head down, keep going frame of mind. And it's been so interesting to, I mean, without trying to directly repeat what you just said, Alessandra, like building this in silence for the most part has been such an interesting experience compared to building our other businesses where you're loud and proud and you're talking about it all the time because you're trying to get people in. And obviously once we're fully live, we'll be talking about TFL a whole lot more, but we've never experienced this amount of work for this long without getting to share how excited and how proud we are of it.
It reminds me of you hiding your pregnancy for so long, but this is even longer than that. So it's like, I mean, Josh will support this.
I only
hate
had the pregnancy for 8 months. This is a full year.
I hate surprises. I am the type of person who will buy someone a present and want to give it to them immediately because I'm like so excited to give it to them. And Josh is much more patient, but like that's what this has felt like to me. Like it's like you have this present in this gift that you want to give to someone for so long, and it's like you can't say anything about it. You can't give them any real hints about it. You can't show them a sneak peek. Like it's hush hush, and it's been hard, I think, as somebody who puts everything out there, but it was definitely necessary, I think, for this project to do the silent hustle, to keep it under wraps, and then finally let you in.
Drop the bomb.
There was no other way. Again, we thought, a few months we'll get version 1 out. And here we imagine if we said that.
When we tell you January 1st of 2025 was our ETA launch date, and it is now August 26th, 2025. And to no fault of anyone, let me be very clear. It was not like, oh, the dev team's not moving fast enough, or like we're not moving fast enough. It's we have become such dreamers about this project that, like we were alluding to a few minutes ago, one idea comes up, that sparks another idea, that sparks another idea. And they're like, okay, let's make sure we have that before launch. Oh, let's also make sure this is in there before launch. Oh, well, now we can't launch without that. And so we have kind of inadvertently pushed the timeline back so much because we have poured so much time, energy, effort, money, blood, sweat, and tears into this. We just want it to be so absolutely incredible for you when it launches, knowing damn well that there's still going to be lots of other things in the pipeline post launch. But we have become such perfectionists about this project.
It could, without it being a stretch, we could make this last until this coming New Year's.
Yeah.
To go for launch.
Easily.
We did set some cutoffs. We said, this is what we need to get done. Even right now, like, we're very adamant about not bringing new things to the table during our meetings every week because we need singularity of focus to get through.
Because it'll be 3 years before we launch it.
Yeah. So it's like, get through challenges, get some type of community in there, initial, version 1 of community, so we can have conversations back and forth throughout these challenges. And then we'll launch, and then we'll keep going. But we had to have this like hard stop. Here is the thing. And then, we'll get this thing out there for the world. But it's not just things that will be in the pipeline. There are things that are in the pipeline. Building out on top of what's already there, the current features, then building out the new features and getting all these things integrated. And I even have a vision for this. I don't know how far this is, but in-person events. Like, we are the fitness league. We are built on making health and fitness accessible to all. That's how we're going to make the world a happy, healthy place. The community is going to be incredible. There's going to be a lot of things in the platform to build on the community. But how fun would it be to have, you show up, here's what I'm envisioning. You show up with your team, we'll have a set number that you need on your team, and you don't know what events you're competing in. So it could literally be like a relay race and a kickball game and a volleyball tournament on the beach. Just like incorporating these fun backyard games. You're active, you're involved, in some capacity with maybe some fitness. Maybe none of them don't have any specific fitness events involved. But it's like, I'm training for something. I'm training to be the best version of myself. And there's going to be an aspect of real competition on this date. We got 6 months to get ready for this thing. We don't know what it's going to be. I think CrossFit is kind of like that, right? Where you show up, you don't know what the workout is going to be until like that day or something.
I think it's similar. And like, I'm picturing like family events, kid things, which I don't know if we're going into that direction, Josh, you can decide that after. But like, I think after COVID, we have all just been craving connection and in-person connection. I love social media. I love being able to connect with people virtually. Like, obviously that is why we are all here today, literally. But I think, having community events has been on our radar for so long, since COVID, before COVID. So I'm envisioning run clubs. I'm envisioning hiking groups. I'm envisioning like just the sky is the limit with what we're envisioning here as far as connecting you guys to people who are doing things that you want to do or doing the things that you currently love to do. And that gets me so hyped up, just knowing that that is on the radar, where we can take this and take everybody listening to this podcast and put them on a field together and do things and do fun things together. Like, that excites the heck out of me. So I'm just so excited.
I picture TFL, the Fitness League, as this big, like a web graph or like a web chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, the visual is like TFL in the middle, right? And then there's like this web, this web, this web, this web, this web branching out. And each of those have 5 other webs it's all branching into. And I feel like that will maybe help paint the picture of like how many different avenues we anticipate taking this. And launching the actual platform is step 1 of a whole lot more to come.
And that
Project CDEFGHIJ. Okay?
Full alphabet. I'll hit on the family thing in a second, but I do want to point out one thing selfishly that I've always wanted, and we'll do something with this. But for those of you who don't, I think I've talked about this maybe one time. I actually made it to the last round of casting for The Real World when I was in college. Thank
the Lord he did not make it, because we would not be sitting here today if he did.
The dark path turned darker is what that would have been. But it's not that I wanted to be on the real world. I always wanted to be on the challenge. Like going to the pit and doing those things, I thought was like, I loved watching those specific hard hitting, one-on-one, crazy challenges. So maybe some aspect of that. You got that. It looks like the telephone pole and they're pushing in opposite direction, this giant sand pit, or there's this football drill where you lay head to head on your back. Someone gets dropped the ball and you got to run through the next guy to get through it, or you get tackled. Little things like that. It's hamburger, I think we used to call it. But little things like that I think are going to be really cool for maybe some more extreme versions of certain team aspects. But family, real quick, I'll hit on this platform will encapsulate like actual family activities, things that you can do together. A huge portion of our audience is busy parents, and we talk about how to do things with your kids and how to work around kids' schedules. And there will be some things built into this platform that give you some support in those areas. That's part of why we have our mascot. So our mascot's name we haven't dropped yet is Plato, Plato. A, because he's a plate. B, because Plato is a philosopher, and this is kind of like a health and fitness philosophical platform in a strange way.
I was going to say we didn't introduce him yet, but he's the little guy that you've seen. I mean, we've posted it where it's on a few of Josh's shirts. It's on
every thumbnail of these episodes.
In the thumbnails, if you go look on our Instagram page, he's been around, and I've heard some people say he looks like the M&M guy. He looks like, various other mascots, but he's really cute, and he's a custom little drawing he's ours. It's on a stock image or anything. We own him, but I think he really represents the fun aspect of this. And yeah, he'll tie into the family stuff, but like he really is our little inclusive guy that's there to cheer you on and to make fitness fun. Yeah.
He's waving the Fitness League flag. That's what that is, for those who are wondering what's happening with that stick. So that's a bit of the vision for the future, and we could talk about that for literally the next 7 hours. But that is just a little bit of a sneak peek. Anything else we really missed for this? Again, we could talk about this forever, but we shared what it is, what it's doing, some sneak peeks into the future. Any big nuggets we missed?
I wouldn't say there's big nuggets in my opinion, but I think you guys can just sort of view this as the reveal. Like that's what it is. Now you're included. We can start showing you more sneak peeks across
so excited to share
our social media platforms. Joelle and I have been itching, and like I think like once a week for the last maybe 12 weeks we've been like in our little group chat. Josh, can we share this today? Can we share this today? And every time he's like, no. So now it's like we can get it out in the open and like just share, like, because we have not used the SE Method app in months. Like we've been using TFL, so we can finally share like how we're using it, show you guys what it looks like. It's all up for grabs now. So prepare to be sick of us.
Yeah. I had someone message me this morning who saw I was doing split squats, and they're like, are you testing out next month's round of Muscle Mommy? Because those aren't in this month's. And I'm like, I kept them in my version of Muscle Mommy this month, but I can't tell you how or why.
You can now. How'd you get that in there?
Now we can do that. There's a good old swap button in your exercise library with our first top 2, I believe, recommended like admin choice of a exercise substitution. And then beyond those top 2 admin recommendations, the next 3, so you get 5 substitute options to swap in or out an exercise. And the following 3 are then ranked by machine learning of most similar to the programmed exercise. So I pretty much do Bulgarian split squats every single block, but because I don't want to torture you guys with that, I often don't do that for you guys, but I swap something else out from Muscle Mommy to keep my Bulgarians in for my own programming. So
one, this isn't a major nugget. With you kind of mentioning that, some things that they're not front end facing yet, but they're built into the back end, and we have to build in the UI for the front end. But as this thing is learning about what you're responding best to, or maybe you chose a 5-day program and you're only hitting 3 or 4 days, as this thing continues to learn, there's actually going to be this Netflix like recommendation feature. So one aspect of that will be if a lot of people similar to you are doing a certain program, this is, the most favorited. Or one might just be like, hey, you're doing this would go great with that. Or, this has gone this way. Maybe you might want to try this. So a little bit of built-in adaptivity based on, completion rates and how things are looking. So one more fun little tidbit, a little out of order, but that reminded me, sparked that reminder I wanted to share. But from this point, how can we gain early access? There's no signups yet. Some of you already jumped on this list, but it was the TFL waitlist, I believe, in the show notes. We'll change that now to the Fitness League early access. It'll say one of those. If I forget to change it in the show notes for this episode, just it's the same thing. Click on that. You can add your email and your name, and you'll get the blast for early access. We'll be doing initial onboarding probably in a few waves. We have a very small, very, very small number of beta users right now, testing out what's currently in there, and then we'll get challenges up here soon. But we'll onboard into what we're going to call an external beta. Basically, all our current app users will have access to be able to sign up first, and then anyone who's on that early access list will jump in there. That will be it'll be almost live, but we won't be promoting it or anything like that. We'll get you guys on there, make sure the transition is smooth, and we'll go from that point. So if you wanted to be, to Alessandra's point, that family influencer, the fitfluencer for your group of friends, for your family, for the coworkers, there's going to be all kinds of affiliation programs we'll have involved. But you can now, once this goes up, bring them in on those challenges, start sending them these podcasts, and we've got the daily blogs on our Levolution site. So just start paying attention, start building that ecosystem. This is when we go full send, there's going to be a big wave that comes through with this, and it starts with you guys. You've been here from the beginning. We want to reward you for that. We want you to have incentive to continue building this community on top of changing your life and changing the lives of your loved ones, but to have some real skin in the game and share some really cool things with you all. So.
And there will be TFL merch like Josh's hat he's wearing right now. I know someone actually asked me yesterday before they knew what this was, like, can I get podcasts like TFL podcast merch? But we will release all of the hats and gear. Basically, if you just go to every episode and look at what Josh is wearing, like, those will all be out soon.
Little do they know the podcast merch has actually been the platform merch this whole time.
Yes.
We actually have a store built out for it. So right now,
might be on the Levolution.
Yeah,
Printful.
We use a company called Printful. We've tried doing the bulk stuff and managing that and quality control, and it hasn't worked out in our favor yet. We're not an apparel company at the moment. We're gonna do a lot of things in the future, but at the moment, so we've used this company called Printful. Right now on our site, our Levolution site, we've got like a Levolution store. We do have the Fitness League store built out. It's just private at the moment. So once, I guess soon after this episode comes out, we'll have that come up, and I'll link that in the show notes going forward. Again, more incentive for that 3-episode rule. If you've listened beyond 3 episodes, you're getting value, you're enjoying the podcast, please share it with a friend. As you know, building the Fitness League is important, more important now than ever, I would say. So if you listen beyond those 3 episodes, you've gotten some value, please share it so that someone else can find it too and get some free resources to improve their lives. Where can they find you?
I'm at Alessandra Skutnik.
At Joelle Samantha.
I'm at Josh Skutnik.
And everything else you need is linked in the show notes.